mention this is because Steph attended the Loyola University of Chicago, where she not only attended a summer school in Rome, which was part of her education there, but she was on the Loyola University of Chicago women's soccer team, and reliably informs me she was a defender. So please do welcome the soccer-loving and soccer-playing Steph. Thank you, Steph.
That was awesome that I get to talk about that I played soccer. I'm 4'11" 3/4, and I had like the highest vertical on my team because I had to learn how to jump past everyone else who was taller than me. So thank you so much for having me. So I work for Arity, which is a mobility and data analytics company. And our mission is we're focused on making transportation smarter, safer, and more useful for everyone. And we make sense of how people move. So we turn billions of miles of driving data from cars and smartphones into predictive analytics that help businesses move forward and people move forward. And it is a company that is backed by Allstate Insurance Company. And behind the scenes of the company is our people and our culture. And culture is a competitive advantage. We already know that. We heard that here today. If you have a good culture, you have good profitability, you can iterate on things faster, you can attract and retain talent. And a great culture is one where employees feel generally cared for, that they feel empowered, and then they feel valued. Isn't it nice to feel valued by your company? And how do we create that? It's by creating an environment of trust. Right? So we heard of trust. That was the first thing that we talked about today. We've heard trust throughout the morning. And how do we create trust? We have to be intentional about building connections and building relationships with our people. And if you think about it, how well do you know the people that you work with? How well, what are you paying attention to, when you work with them? You did say you wanted some type of activity. Oh, I love activities. And I have not been on a stage in, 3 years, 2 years, something like that. So I'm gonna have a little fun. I have not even seen my department, my team, my company in person. So let's pretend that you guys are my employees at Arity. We get to work together. And I wanna ask you to just do something. This morning we talked about to talk to the person next to us and ask, where you're from. What I want you to do is talk to not the person next to you, maybe the person behind you, somebody you didn't talk to at lunch, just quickly for 30 seconds. Where are you from? Are you from, the city, the state, or the country? I'm gonna give you 30 seconds to do that. Just quickly talk to the person next to you or around you that you haven't talked to. Go. All right, that is 30 seconds, 30 seconds, 30 seconds. I love me some 30 seconds. Let me clear my throat. 30 seconds is up. I love it. What's really cool is we have a cocktail hour, and you can totally continue that conversation at now 5 o'clock, probably. But it's great energy connecting with people. And so let me just for fun, show of hands. Who here is from New York City? This is your town? Raise your hand. Everyone look around. They might know the good restaurant recommendations, so ask them. Just curious, who is from out of state? So not New York State, but in the United States. What state are you from? Wisconsin. I heard that, right? How about you? California in the house? California. Where are you from? California. We have a lot of California. How about over here? Texas, Minnesota, New Jersey, Florida, Maryland. Okay, I know we have Canada, and I know we have Mexico, where I met y'all at lunch. Where else? Anywhere else outside the country? Michigan, outside of the U.S. country. UK, somewhere else? Canada? Massachusetts, that's a great country. I heard of that. UK, oh, so how cool is this, right? We're global. We're a global company. And the reason why I asked you to do that is when you were actually talking to the other person, were you actually paying attention to what they were saying? Or were you like, hurry up because I'm gonna tell you where I'm from? But I'm kind of listening, but I'm kind of not because I'm about to tell you where I'm from. I'm so excited. That's natural, right? But we need to be intentional. We need to connect and be intentional because culture is made in small moments, right? Culture is made in small moments. And if we are wanting to build relationships, wanting to create trust, what are we paying attention to when we're connecting with our folks, right? So I want to share with you a little bit how we do this at Arity. And when we started 6 years ago, we were 100% in person, and now we are 100% remote. So doing an activity like that just doesn't happen when you're remote, right? You can see the energy. It took me a long time to get you guys to stop talking, but on Zoom, you're like, are you muting? Are you not? Like, we're just talking over. It doesn't work the same. So we have to think, how do we do this different? What is our why? We've talked a little bit about that today. We had to go back and think, why are we doing this? What is our company's mission? Are our people connected to it? How do we do recognition differently? How do we recruit differently? How do we attract our talent differently? How do we work together differently? So we had to start from the drawing board. And to maintain employee engagement, it's crucial in a remote environment to keep people engaged. They need to be connected to a purpose. And so, lo and behold, lucky for us, we have a team that's dedicated to making Arity the best place to work. So our culture team, so that's me, and I get to lead that team. I am the creative culture leader, and our team's job is to make it the best place to work. And so we focus on creating an inclusive community, a culture of appreciation and recognition. Those are two different things, as well as empowering employees to work better together. And then our people team, I apologize, also want to call out who is here. Megan O'Neill from my team is here, thank you, Megan. She's here from our team, and Elena is holding the fort down back in her hometown of Bolingbrook, Illinois. And then our people team, their job is to attract, develop, and retain talent. And that's led by Beth Perillo and her team, Jen and Tanner. And we are not HR. Our job is really focused on employee engagement. How do we attract and retain talent? And the cool thing is, we're a data and analytics company. This is hilarious. This is like so tall. I gotta move over here. We are a data and analytics company. And we use data when we think about our people as well, right? How are we being intentional about creating an environment that we want that's positive, that's authentic, where people could be their authentic selves? And then also looking at employee feedback and saying, is this the right thing that we should do for our people? If it's not, then we should change it. Are they engaged with what we're doing? So it's a great opportunity for us to connect because we are focused on it. And I'm going to share, you're right, this clicker does move pretty quickly. 3 different bodies of work that we do that kind of help foster a great company culture. And part of that is building an inclusive community. So one of the things we learned in our research is that employees, especially now being remote, really wanted to be connected to one another, and then also our mission as well as our culture. And we started thinking about, back in March of 2020, we have to do onboarding differently. So you get an onboarding email, virtual new employee orientation, as well as we had a new employee hub, but that's where you can go to find all the links and everything that you would normally find in an office. It's all in one page. And we thought, being inclusive, we wanted you to feel like you were part of the company right away. So we send you a new employee kit, and it has a nice white box with, the Arity branding on it, and you've got your hoodie, your shirt. You have a letter from our president welcoming you to the company. How cool is that? So you could feel like you've got a uniform that you can wear proudly, that you're part of Arity. And then we also give you coffee on your first week. This is normally we'd go to the coffee shop, let me buy you coffee on your first day. Well, we can't do that, but Here's a Starbucks gift card. And then at the end of the month, we all have lunch together. And it's kind of fun because we get to talk about the programs that we're working on, but we also get to connect on purpose with the people we're working, especially when you're new. And one of the other things we've done and that we learned is we wanted to create a new hire, like ambassador program. And it's a 12-week program, and you're paired with somebody that's outside of your department. And the cool thing is, these Arity ambassadors, they're trained, so we help them with what they need to focus on, like Arity's mission, vision, how do they meet people outside of the organization. But they're all volunteers. So they're probably our most highly engaged folks because they have their day job and they want to take time to like make sure that the new people feel included as part of the community. I think that's really cool. And one of the things that they get to do is they talk about our DE&I strategy. So on their first day, they're hearing about being inclusive and that they know it's part of the strategy because it's actually one of our company goals. You know, so we only added this as a goal last year. So for me, it's new. We had to figure out how we integrate this into the systems and the processes of our strategy. But if you're new, you don't know any different. So this already sets the tone of the culture that we want, right? So we look at it in our D&I as 4 pillars of work. So how do we attract and retain talent that's inclusive? What about the products that we're creating? Are the models that we're using? The user experience, even the vendors that we work with, are they diverse? Where in the community are we giving back? How are we raising money? And then DE&I, learning and development, that underscores everything. And you see that as an integration in everything that we do in your day-to-day. How can we integrate that into team building or training or experiences? And one of the really cool things before the strategy even started is we had a group of folks from our marketing department just wanted to start grassroots an anti-racism committee because there was a lot going on in the last couple years and they wanted a platform to talk about it, right? So they just started it themselves and now they've integrated with our DE&I L&D strategy. So if you look, the top layer is the leadership group, the 4 pillars, trying to enact cultural and systemic changes into Arity. Then you have your anti-racism committee, which is now volunteers from every department who gets to facilitate conversations with people that they hopefully know a little bit better because they're from your department. And then you've got the community who, maybe you're not the volunteer, but you get to be part of the inclusive conversations. So last quarter, we do different things quarterly. We did a privilege walk virtually, which was really cool. We did use that with Mural. And then tomorrow actually starts our next inclusive conversation, and we're going to talk about empathy in the workplace, right? So these things we're doing, they're not just like, oh, we're going to do a D&I strategy. These are the actions that we are actually doing, and here's us following up with that, right? Isn't it? We hear that in the feedback, like follow up, show them what you did, tell them, right? And the other cool thing is all employees have to take 2 workshops. One is the Intercultural Development Inventory, or the IDI. Anybody familiar with the IDI or taken that assessment? Okay, awesome. So it's a short survey, and it's really designed to help measure an individual's awareness and sensitivity to cultural differences. So you'll take the assessment, and you'll think, I'm really good, and I know where I am, and I'm so awesome with D&I, and then you're like, oh, but I'm actually over here, and I have a lot of work to do. That's okay. And the cool thing is, as an individual, you have your journey in DE&I, and the company may have a different journey and may be in a different space, or your employees are, and that's okay, because that helps us connect and understand we're all coming from different places, right? We don't all have the same experience. Even what you guys were saying, where you live, we don't all live in the same places, so what is framing our mindsets, right, could be different, and it's creating that self-awareness. Are we self-aware? And then insights. Anybody know insights? Oh, okay, insight, yeah, it's a UK, Scotland, I think it's, it's like Myers-Briggs. If you look at this, communication preference styles, that's a secondary dimension of diversity. Most people think sex, orientation, or, other aspects of DE&I, but communication preference, that matters. We may speak differently. And if you just had to look up here real quick, for those that lead with cool blue, cautious, precise, deliberate, questioning, forming, raise your hand if you think that sounds like you. Okay, couple. How about Earth Green, caring and encouraging, sharing, patient reserved? Quick show of hands, something, okay. Lovely. How about my Sunshine Yellow, persuasive, demonstrative, social? Okay, we see it. And then fiery red, competitive, demanding, strong-willed. Yeah, okay, so if you looked around the room, just as I would expect, those that lead with cool blue and Earth Green, they were like, right, those are my introverts. Fiery red, sunshine yellows, you guys were like, yeah, I didn't even finish talking, you already had your hand up in the air, right? So just think about the dynamics of just in this room, think about the people that you work with, right? So the second body of work I want to talk about is promoting recognition and appreciation. And Arity's culture consists of three key elements that we want to make sure employee recognition and appreciation is embodied from the top to the bottom into the work we do every day, right? So celebrating the individual, right? We're all different. Do we actually, let you bring your authentic self to work and celebrate that? Uniting teams and employees to teams and communities. So we believe for Arity to thrive, we actually have to create opportunities for connection, being intentional about creating connections, and then connecting it to the strategy, right? The Arity's mission, vision, our desired behaviors from our leadership team. Like those are important. And then we have a really cool tool. Megan launched this tool this year, Applause. It helps connect folks socially, because again, we're all remote, so you can't do the handwritten note and put it on the board and say, great job. You have to use the tools that are available to show folks recognition for a job well done, for the work you're doing, but also it's a place to say, happy birthday, happy anniversary, a retirement card, hey, you're moving, congratulations on your move, you're a new house. Like, we have to bring the people, what's going on in your life at home, at work, because it's the same place for us. Your home is your office for us, right? And so it's nice that we're intentionally doing that. And every second Thursday of the month, the team comes together to recognize new peers and celebrate our accomplishments, so new faces. So when you're new, you get highlighted. Team spotlights, you can recognize like different departments, and it's a lot of fun. Actually, this picture is very recent. That was Thursday last week. And then we also highlight our employees externally. So we are Arity. So if you look for that hashtag on LinkedIn, Twitter, or Instagram, you'll find that we take 3 employees and we focus on them, give them the spotlight externally, and then we decided, let's take it in-house, have a meeting, so that if maybe someone missed the social post, right, because there's so many things in the feed, let's talk about what they did and do a panel discussion, and then also have networking with that. And guess what, guys? 25 minutes. We do that in 25 minutes to build intentional connections. And it's one of our most attended events, as well as our recognition stand-up, right? Being intentional about creating community. And then it's fun, like we even care about you. If you have a baby, we will give you an Arity branded onesie so it matches yours that you get on your first day. And I love it. This is one of our teammates. That was, thank goodness, she's like, I'm like, can I use this picture? We encourage you, you're a parent. This is what's happening in your life. We have a Parents Working Together network channel where you can post like your first day of school pictures or your last day of school pictures where your kid grew. It's amazing. And then I think it's just a nice way to know that, we care about you, whether we're hosting a virtual baby shower or we've done wedding showers, we've done retirement parties, because that's where you are in your life. So we want to celebrate you. And it's fun. Arity, we have been here since 2017. Recognition is also important to us externally, not for the awards. It's so that we know, like from a baseline, that we're actually doing okay, right? Like going to an event like this, I've learned so much from you. I still remember Kevin Sheridan, the very first conference that I attended, how much I learned about him, about creating a cool company culture, right? Again, maybe we'll win again, but that's not what it's really about. And the last body of work I want to talk about is continuous learning and development. So we do have a manager toolkit, right? So if, we heard you were talking about you were a new manager one time and maybe you didn't have any help, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, what do I need to do as a new manager? We created something for you. And even if you're a long tenured manager, this is for you as well. Just basic things like compensation planning, recruiting. But one of the cool things we did, part of our D&I work, is we also said, how are we hiring inclusively? How are we continuing to advance talent inclusively and monitor engagement? So all of our managers take unconscious bias training every year. It's just in case we forget, right? So it's fresh in our mind. And then we also show senior leaders and directors the diversity data so that you could really see what your team makeup is and what things we might need to do to improve when we're hiring new folks. And they also have resources to like help career development. We use the GROW model, if you're familiar with that. LinkedIn Learning, leveraging tools like Degreed, Harvard Business Review, and then also your manager is your career coach for one-on-ones. Anybody use Mural? Just quick show of hands. All right, okay, so Mural, someone created a Mural template with the GROW model. I thought that was brilliant. To me, that was like a really good innovation because everybody, you could see, what you're doing for your development. And this was part of our March. We have Learning and Development Month. We also have Learn Day. This is the first program that we created as a culture team, first Friday of every month. You can take 1 hour or the whole day to learn. The whole company is doing it, right? So if you don't create the space, we're not gonna do it, right? We're gonna get busy. And so here I got a chance to talk about privilege. Someone talked about Lunar New Year. Someone was talking about coding. So it doesn't necessarily always have to be about work. You can share whatever you wanna share, or you could read a book or take the courses online. So I just shared with you some moments of being intentional in creating connections, right? Those are all business things that we were doing, but we also do fun things like happy hours, where we drink virtually around the world, or open mic night, or trivia, where we combine that with charity work. And if you want to play, you can donate some money, and we can donate that to charity. You can come to that happy hour. It's next week, right? And the thing is, people show up. People actually come. You'd be surprised. And people decide what they want to do, right? So a team wanted to make gingerbread houses for their end of the year thing. Okay, somebody wanted to paint pictures. Somebody wanted to have a mixologist. And you know what? These folks, that's what they want. That's the way that they want to connect. So we give it to them. And another thing here, it's fun. Like if we have time, we say, let's hang out. So we play music. Bring your family online. So people have kids. People, which is kind of funny, they have pets, so like their dogs, their cats. Somebody has a snake. I don't know. That's not exactly a pet I would like, but it's really cool because they can show us who they are. Someone even gave us an MTV Cribs type home tour, which was lovely, right? And the cool thing is these folks, they know where each other lives, right? From all over the world. So change is constant. 2016, we opened up our office in Chicago. 2020, we closed it. This is my reality now. 2022 and going forward, right? So to be successful, Arity has to keep evolving our culture to support the needs of our teams. Culture is made in small moments. We need to be intentional about what we're doing, how we're connecting, how we're building relationships, what are we paying attention to, right? And hopefully, you could create a culture like ours, and it's a place that I'm proud to work of and call my home, because it's the same place. Thank you so much.